Puxatawny Phil didn't see his shadow, and that means that spring is coming early, just in time for the college baseball season to begin. I'm Morgan Boll here with Josh Bartosik and Allie Wenskoski. Can you guys tell me about some of the teams you're really looking forward to this season?
Yeah, I'll go with the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's a team that got really hot these last 2 years, but last year they had a bunch of injuries and they ran into an even hotter TCU team. But I think they can really make a stand. I mean, the SEC is so strong. They were the overall number 1 seed a few years ago before they lost in the Super Regional, and they lost 6 regular day starters to transfers and graduation, but Hagen Smith on the mound has been really, really good for them as they continue to be good. 199 strikeouts in about 143 innings. He's definitely going to hit that 200 mark very, very soon, and we'll probably hit 300 by the end of this season. And when they have good pitching, the hitting can normally pick up the rest of the slack. So this is a really good Arkansas team. I think you could probably see them in the College World Series down the road.
I agree with you. I actually almost wanted to talk about Alabama, but I'm going to go a little farther south to another team that's going to have a big bite this year, and it's going to be the Florida Gators. I think they're really strong. We saw them in the College World Series last year, and they just felt LSU 18-4, and that was kind of pitiful numbers in that final game. But, they have Jack Caglione there. He's the preseason two-way player of the year, and we're seeing that a little bit more nowadays in college baseball where players can go both ways. And he had 33 home runs last year, and that's just not a little number. And then they have a few transfers as well. Colby Shelton's coming from Alabama, and Liam Peterson's going to be on the mound coming in as a freshman too, and he could be the best pitcher in 8 years for the Gators. So I think they're going to come in with a little bit of a snap.
No, yeah, I honestly can't agree with you more. I think Florida's going to be really fun to watch this season, especially with Jack Caglione. I was lucky enough to work with him this summer before he left for Team USA, but I think him, Colby Shelton, and Luke Heyman are going to make it a pretty exciting season for Florida. They're all Gators, but they were also all Commodores this summer, so that'll be fun. And I know it's pretty early for this, but why don't we talk about some of your World Series predictions?
Yeah, so it is a little bit early just because the first pitch hasn't even been thrown, but I'm going to go with 2 big names for my prediction, LSU and Wake Forest. I just think they're the top of the top, and that's who you're going to have in the College World Series. To start off, LSU won last year 18-4 against the Gators. We haven't had a back-to-back champion since 2010 and 11 with South Carolina, but I think this is the team to do it. Now, they did lose quite a few players, but they have a big name coming onto the mound with Cam Johnson. And he is a big fella, 6'5", 230 pounds, but he has just a powerful fastball that's going to be hard to beat. And then Wake Forest, they're the talk of the town this year. They're ranked number 1 to start off this season. They were ranked 3rd last year, but they had a 54-17 season last year, which is so impressive. And they were ranked 1st when they went into the tournament, and then just fell apart in there. But that was their first trip to Omaha in 65 years, and I think they're going to come back to it.
Yeah, look, Wake Forest and LSU were obviously the cream of the crop in terms of college baseball, and they met in that College World Series. It took a walk-off home run in the 3rd game from Tommy White, former NC State legend, for LSU to knock off Wake Forest. And Wake Forest went out and said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go get the best pitcher out there on the transfer portal, Chase Burns from Tennessee. Now he's on the mound pushing the rubber for the Demon Deacons. The dude throws 102 in his sleep. He's ridiculous. And you still have the majority of your team coming back in terms of reloading. And it's not really rebuild for them. It's retooling. They had 10 draft picks last year, which is the most in their program history. And they're just so good. And speaking of Tennessee, that's who I think is going to be the other team to make it to that College World Series final. Yes, they lost Chase Burns, but they picked it up in terms of hitting. They got Cannon Peebles, an NC State freshman, a lot of NC State guys going into the transfer portal that ended up going to the SEC. And they loaded up that way. They also have a lot of other guys on the mound. Not only do they have Cannon Peebles from NC State, but they have A.J. Causey on the mound. They replaced Chase Burns, who they lost, and they have another guys. They got some good relievers that come into the transfer portal as well to really shore up that bullpen. So I also think the Chase Burns redemption arc could be really cool if you see Wake Forest and Tennessee play, but I think Wake Forest right now is easily the team to beat in the world of college baseball.
No, definitely. I'm really excited to see A.J. Causey with Tennessee this season, but I really think it'll be Wake Forest and Florida. And as much as I say that, I would also love to see Oregon State move up the ladder, and I think that they could definitely do that with Travis Bazzana. He was the MVP this summer with one of the Cape Leagues, and I would love to see him in the World Series. But moving on, let's talk about Penn State. How do you guys think their season will go?
Yeah, it could go a little bit similar to kind of feel like a deja vu scenario in terms of Penn State men's basketball. Brand new head coach for both of those, lots of transfers coming in. Could be a bit of a rocky road to start. We don't know. I know that you're going to mention that as well yourself. But this is Mike Gambino coming in. Rob Cooper stepped down last year. Gambino has completely turned around that Boston College program, has the second most wins in program history, 291 in his 13 years. Took them to the NCAA tournament a couple times, took them to the Super Regionals as well in 2016. And he brought a bunch of talent with him. Joe Jakonski's a big one from UNC. But the big one, the huge one, the big fish on the market for Penn State is Adam Cesario, former captain at Wake Forest, a team that we talked so much about, has over 100 career RBIs and hitting near 300 his entire career. He's going to come in and be a really good veteran presence for the Nittany Lions, but wouldn't be so shocked if they have a slow start, but they could pick things up by the end of the season.
I sort of agree with you. I think you're a little more optimistic than I'm going to be. I'm just glad the renovations to the stadium are still where the stadium used to be, because it's close to the Creamery, because I think it's going to be a bit of a rocky road season. I mean, they were 25-25 last year. They did lose their head coach, and they have a new one, so that could shake things up a little bit. But I think their biggest department they have to improve on is pitching. I mean, they have a couple relievers still there, but they lost a couple of their big names. Two of their main starters, Daniel Durkirk, actually was drafted to the Mariners, and then Jordan Morales was transferred to Purdue. So I think these transfers are just going to make it a little difficult for Penn State on the mound.
No, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how they play, especially with the new head coach and also Dollar Dog Night. But that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning into Penn State Sports Night. Be sure to keep up to date with all of our NCAA baseball coverage, including Penn State. For Josh Bartosik and Allie Wenskoski, I'm Morgan Boll. Have a great night.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and follow our socials down below.
And as always, we are
Penn State Sports Night.